Tonight on To The Point, funding Medi-Cal.
Today, Governor Newsom signed a bill that includes $2.8 billion additional dollars to fund Medi-Cal, but only through the end of June. How will this important low-income health care program be funded through the rest of the year?
Plus, a community celebration turns into chaos. The new details after 3 people were shot at Davis Community Park. A powerful earthquake shaking Southern California.
Everything was moving. It rocked for a long time.
What we know about the epicenter and potential aftershocks. And later, misleading packaging. Why you might want to think again before you toss out that expired food.
Good evening. Thank you so much for starting your week with us. On To The Point, I'm Alex Bell. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill today that, among other things, plugs an unexpected budget gap to fund Medi-Cal through late June. The low-income healthcare program serves more than a third of the state's 39 million people, and its expansion to include undocumented immigrants has been pretty controversial. ABC 10's Becca Habegger breaks down the change tonight.
When state lawmakers passed the budget for this current fiscal year, which runs July of 2024 through the end of this June, they underestimated just how much the low-income health care program Medi-Cal would cost. That's California's Medicaid, funded with state and federal dollars. 15 million of California's 39 million people, more than a third, get their health care through Medi-Cal.
So it's a substantial number of Californians are getting that coverage.
Chris McKaylee is an adjunct professor with University of the Pacific's McGeorge School of Law. He says because Medi-Cal is costing more than the state budgeted this fiscal year, Governor Gavin Newsom borrowed $3.4 billion from the general fund last month. He also asked lawmakers to allocate an additional $2.8 billion from the general fund just to keep the program afloat through the end of June. Lawmakers did that on Thursday by passing AB 100, something called a Budget Bill Junior, which amends the current budget. Newsom signed it Monday. It goes into effect immediately and unlocks matching federal Medicaid dollars. So why is Medi-Cal over budget?
So according to the Department of Finance, we've seen a big increase in the cost of providing medical services, particularly in the cost of pharmaceuticals and other medicines. But we've also seen a substantial increase in the number of individuals covered who are undocumented individuals.
Starting in 2024, California expanded Medi-Cal eligibility to include all low-income undocumented immigrants. Republican state lawmakers pushed back against AB 100, saying, in part, this spending bill throws nearly $3 billion towards benefits for illegal immigrants with zero accountability for how costs got so out of control. Newsom has defended Medi-Cal's expansion, saying that making preventive care accessible to all low-income people helps save the state money in the long run. As for Medi-Cal's funding this next fiscal year, plus paying back that $3.4 billion general fund loan,
the budget negotiations that will begin in earnest in middle of May through June the 15th, which is the deadline, that's when they'll determine how much more money is required for funding the Medi-Cal program through next June 30th.
AB 100 addressed more than just Medi-Cal funding. The bill also includes money for wildfire prevention and continued recovery efforts in the wake of the Southern California wildfires from earlier this year.
I just signed an early action bill that will add $170 million in funding to prioritize wildfire prevention, clearing brush, thinning forests, building fire breaks.
$171 million are going to 6 conservancies, including the California Tahoe Conservancy, for that wildfire prevention.
That is coming from Prop 4, the so-called climate bond that voters adopted at last November's ballot.
The bill also authorizes the State Department of Finance to offset property tax revenue lost by the municipalities affected in the Southern California wildfires. In Sacramento, Becca Habegger, ABC 10.
Experts say there's uncertainty around the future of funding for the state, federal Medicaid funding for the state. More than half of Medi-Cal funding, it does come from the federal government, but that money does not pay for the care of undocumented immigrants. Only state dollars goes towards that. Just wanted to make that clear. All right, we know that Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will be in Folsom tomorrow. It's part of Sanders' Fighting Oligarchy National Tour. The event was originally scheduled to take place in Auburn. That was moved to Folsom Lake College to accommodate more people. Organizers are expecting thousands of people to show up. Counter-protesters are also expected to be there as well. And we are learning more about the shooting that took place over the weekend at Davis Community Park. We know 2 teens and a 24-year-old were hurt. ABC 10's Luke Cleary reports from Davis, where the investigation is continuing tonight.
I'm here at Davis Community Park, where more than 48 hours after the shooting, investigators are here combing the area for evidence. Take a look. A K-9 unit was on scene. So was the Yolo County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team, fanning out 7 across, searching the grass by hand. And metal detectors. They were even seen searching the trees for bullets. There were hundreds of young people at the party on Saturday afternoon, many of them capturing the picnic day party on their phones, as well as the terrifying moments when gunshots rang out. That video evidence also part of the police investigation now, and it gives us a clear record of the trauma many people are feeling. Like UC Davis student Madeline Hinojos, who was there with her boyfriend.
It was right next to us. It was 5 to 10 feet away at most, because all you heard was the pop, 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 and he goes, run, and you see everybody scatter. Thousands of people running. We are sprinting for our lives every which direction.
The shooting happened while the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity was hosting an event. They've not responded to our request for comment. Davis police say the event was permitted, and it happened in an area where mutual aid officers were in place for crowd control that day. Still, no arrests or any information about the shooter or shooters. But police say they don't think this was a random attack, and they don't believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. There are still many unanswered questions tonight about the victims. We just know that the 2 teens and that 24-year-old are expected to survive. Reporting in Davis, Luke Cleary, ABC 10.
New tonight, the city of Marysville has confirmed that Police Chief Christian Sachs has been placed on administrative leave. The city has not disclosed why, but says it is a personal matter. Lieutenant Vance Nabeta will also assume those responsibilities of acting chief. It's unclear how long Sachs will be on leave. Tonight, a statewide search is underway for a missing inmate who walked away from Ishi Conservation Camp in Tama County. CDCR says Antonio Munoz went missing from the camp's head count around 10:30 p.m. Thursday. Munoz was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, white and black shoes, and a white long-sleeve shirt. Officials are asking anyone who has information to please call 911. There's a new effort to replace broken fire hydrants in Stockton tonight after issues during a recent fire. So earlier this month, a recycling plant caught fire on South California Street. Firefighters rushed to the scene and tried to hook up the fire hydrants in the area, but found that at least 3 of them were broken. Officials believe the homeless may have tampered with the hydrants. According to an inspection months ago, at least 20 fire hydrants across the city are currently broken.
Well, it makes me worried because what if my house is on fire and then there's no one to put water in my house? Yeah, that's crazy.
Tomorrow night, leaders will give a presentation to City Council about the fire hydrant issue. City staffers say it would cost about $400,000 to fix the broken hydrants they currently know about. Next, on to the point, a 5.2 magnitude earthquake rocks Southern California. What we're learning about the extent of the damage.
We had the hottest day of the year so far. Today made it to 89 degrees. Tomorrow, though, we're only in the middle 70s, a midweek cool down, and I've got the details coming up after the break.
Plus, procrastinated on your taxes, the last minute tips that could save you time and money. A 5.2 magnitude earthquake shook Southern California today. The epicenter was near the mountain town of Julian, east of San Diego. Parts of Los Angeles and Orange counties also felt strong jolts. Seismologists say there was a foreshock measuring 3.3 yesterday, and the area may have benefited from it because today's quake was farther down in the earth. So
there shouldn't be structural damage. If there is, it's in a pretty bad building. There would be things displaced off of cells.
The San Diego County Sheriff's Department said it received no immediate reports of damage or injuries. Let's get things over to meteorologist Brendan Minchev with more about the earthquake reports. Brendan, what do we know so far?
Yeah, basically what you said, right? It was fairly deep. There were reports of shaking across Southern California. We can see the epicenter here right near the mountain town of Julian. It was a 5.2. There were shake alerts that went out across Southern California from San Diego County all the way up through the Los Angeles metro area. And so this is a good reminder to have either the My Shake app, which will give you those shake alerts directly, or, right? You could have both. Make sure you've got those emergency alerts enabled on your phone. I know it's really annoying when they go off in the middle of the night, but this is a crucial way for you to get those earthquake safety notifications, get those shake alerts, because when you get a shake alert, you have about 10 to 30 seconds to drop, cover, and hold on until shaking stops. So I know this earthquake wasn't anywhere near us, but if we do get a larger earthquake in the area, we will get a shake alert. So it's a good time just to make sure you've got the ability to receive those alerts. Let's talk a little about weather now. We had the hottest day of the year so far, made it to 89 degrees in downtown Sacramento, 87 in Vacaville, 85 in Fairfield, 86 Stockton, 86 in Modesto, 70s in the foothills. So this breaks the previous warmest day of the year so far at 88 degrees. Again, we made it to 89 today. It's still warm out there. We're in those mid 80s across the valley, even some upper 80s hanging on in the upper Sacramento Valley. It'll be a slow cool down as well, still in the mid 70s by the time we get towards about 8 o'clock tonight. Low temperatures to start Tuesday morning, going to be in those low 50s across the valley, pretty close to where we should be for the time of year. Mix of sun and clouds Tuesday afternoon. We're going to be in those mid 70s for most, but we are going to have a chance of some scattered showers in the high country. You see clouds building in, and then by the time we get into the afternoon, there's those opportunities for showers in the Sierra, but cooler through midweek, warmer for the Easter weekend.
Next, on To the Point, the Trump administration doubling down on its deportation decision after meeting with El Salvador's president, what this means for a Maryland man wrongfully detained. Plus, tariff rollback, the products the Trump administration is exempting from its latest tariffs. Tonight, the Trump administration is doubling down on its decision not to tell a federal court whether it has any plans to send back a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador last month. And it comes as President Trump today hosted El Salvador's president in the Oval Office. Alex Prescia has more details from Washington tonight.
Last month, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador and sent to a maximum security prison. Even the White House press secretary says the deportation was an administrative error. In a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration must facilitate Abrego Garcia's return, finding that his removal to El Salvador was illegal. But today, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, an ally of President Trump in the Oval Office, dashed any hopes that Abrego Garcia would be sent back soon.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it.
Bukele struck a deal with the Trump administration to accept more than 200 Venezuelans deported from the U.S. for $5 million.
I'm not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere.
We have millions of people that should not be in this country that are dangerous.
Members of Trump's team allege Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member, a terrorist, and not subject to any U.S. immigration laws.
That if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio today even suggesting that the administration should not have to obey court orders.
Foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court.
Abrego Garcia's family sued the government to challenge the deportation. He has lived in Maryland for 15 years, holds a green card, and has a 5-year-old son with his wife, who is a U.S. citizen.
If you can hear me, I miss you so much.
No evidence has been publicly presented that Garcia is a member of MS-13 or a terrorist. He has also not been charged or convicted of any crimes, and a hearing is scheduled tomorrow in federal court in the case. All right, let's get into your price points tonight. President Trump's tariffs strategy creating more confusion for the stock market today. Stocks started the day up after another reversal in President Trump's tariffs. Over the weekend, the president announced smartphones, laptops, and other electronics would be exempt from his latest round of tariffs, but only temporarily.
You know, you have to show a certain flexibility. Nobody should be so rigid. You have to have a certain flexibility.
According to the Census Bureau, those currently exempted tech products accounted for about $100 billion, or 23% of U.S. imports from China last year. While some tech is exempt, other items from clothes to toys to shoes are not. And if you still have not filed your taxes, let me remind you, the deadline is tomorrow. So whether you're getting them done today, tomorrow, or you've filed for an extension, you may be eligible to file for free and also get some assistance. So the IRS offers direct file in 25 states, including right here in California. You can go directly to irs.gov and use their free tax software. These are in addition to well-known tax software companies like TurboTax and H&R Block. And if you need assistance, free expert help is available as well.
If you find yourself in a position where you don't make a lot of money, but you prefer to have somebody walk you through it, we strongly encourage people to go to irs.gov and click on VITA. VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And these are people who are volunteers, but they are IRS trained, IRS certified, and use IRS vetted software to prepare your taxes.
Applying for an extension to give yourself a little bit more time is also free and easy through the IRS Free File program. But if you owe taxes, you'll want to make an estimated payment now to avoid interest and, of course, any fees. And experts warn that misleading expiration dates are causing some massive food waste. So what date should you really be looking for before tossing out all that food? Shannon Handy from our sister station in San Diego explains tonight.
Are expiration dates confusing to the consumer?
Absolutely.
It's an issue Kate Garrett wants more people to know about and one she's working to combat. Garrett is the director of supply chain at Feeding San Diego. She says expiration dates on food are confusing because they can mean different things.
Anywhere from best by, use by, sell by. It's tough for the typical consumer to really know what to use.
Oh my goodness. June 2022. Looking through the food I have at home, my first instinct is to get rid of it. But Garrett says not so fast. Oftentimes, these dates have nothing to do with food safety, yet people like myself throw it out, wasting both money and resources. A recent study by nonprofit ReFed found in 2023, wasted food amounted to nearly 74 million tons.
That's actually 31% of all of the food that was produced in the U.S. in 2023.
Here's what you should know. Best if used by date indicates quality, not safety. The food might not be at its best flavor, but it's safe to eat. Sell by dates are for retailers, not consumers. It's a date for when the manufacturer wants the store to stop displaying the product. Finally, use by is the last date recommended for best quality. It's not considered a safety date unless it's infant formula. Garrett says non-perishable items usually last months or even years past the printed date. To check, she suggests using the Food Keeper app. It allows you to input an item and learn the extension of it. Feeding San Diego uses Food Keeper to determine what they can and can't give away. It's allowed them to ensure more people are fed instead of having good food go to waste.
Last year, we distributed over 33 million pounds of food, and 91% of that was actually rescued food.
And California will soon become the first state in the nation to ban sell-by dates on food. Starting July 1st of 2026, only 2 categories will be allowed. Best if used to indicate peak food quality and use by to indicate food safety. Next on To The Point, a high-stakes showdown, how the Kings could find themselves in the NBA playoffs. Exciting news for basketball fans. The Sacramento Kings have a chance to clinch a spot in the 2025 playoffs. The Kings and Dallas Mavericks will face off for a win-or-go-home play-in tournament Wednesday at 7 p.m. The Kings will need to win 2 consecutive games in the play-in tournament to secure a spot in the playoffs. Wednesday's game will be here at Golden One Center. Tickets are still available through major ticket platforms. And of course, we will have live coverage right here on To The Point. As always, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If there is something that you think me and the team should be looking into, you already know what to do. You can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. We absolutely love hearing from you. And also all the story ideas that you always share with our team. They're always so fantastic. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, our coverage does not end here. You can always watch our content on our free ABC 10 Plus streaming app. It is free to download straight to your TV. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.